Hello farmers, welcome back to Wyther Farms. I'm over in the field, this right next to our lovely little log cabin that we have here. This field is owned by the same farmer where I did some cultivating jobs for just a couple days ago, and I have gotten paid for those, but they own that field. And the other one that we cultivated up by Wyther Farms, they own this field right here, and they kind of like put a feeler out there for me if I would be interested in purchasing the field. They are asking somewhere in the vicinity of 75,000 pounds for this field, so it's out of my price range. But it'd be kind of nice to have a second arable field around here to harvest that is technically ours. So maybe I can talk to them and maybe lease it for the year, and maybe by the end of the year I could afford it. So I'll have a quick chat with them during the winter months about that, because yeah, they said they're not going to do any more work themselves this fall either. The jobs I did just the other day, yeah, they're pretty much done farming as well. So this field's not going to be touched until next spring. So I'll talk to them during the winter months. Maybe I will go ahead and lease it from them for next year, and by the end of the year, maybe I'll be able to afford it. But today I am traveling over to see Mr. Wythers and Sherman. Originally, I thought I was going to go during the winter time, but there are a few reasons for doing it now. One, I just don't have nothing else to do around here, so I do have free time. Two, I think I'd rather travel during the fall instead of during the winter months. That way I have to travel in the snow if it does snow. And what happens if we get a big snowstorm and I get stuck over there and I can't come back to the farm in time? I won't say in time, but I want to get started the first chance I can in spring, just to make sure our lovely little grass field is ready to go. I got all the equipment I need to repair and just make sure it's up and running for springtime. And of course, I do have a huge field over there that I need to figure out. Still leasing a drill or a plant. Well, it's probably going to be a drill because I'm not going to do any corn or sunflower. So yeah, I was going to think maybe a planter, but it's going to be definitely something to do I can harvest. I don't have to lease my own equipment. And the other reason is the silo will be built this winter. So I kind of would like to be here with that's being built back up just to make sure it's put relatively where we want it to be. Not that I have a huge forward ahead thinking plan of the way the farm's going to look. But the silo is pretty darn huge. I'm going to get it for 50 grand. And I do need to go see the banker because I'm going to have to borrow a little bit more money to do so. But luckily, our cash limit at the bank is 200,000 pounds. So I'm underneath that. So it shouldn't be a problem loaning the money. And I'm pretty sure they'll give it to me because having a silo and being able to sell the grain when I can will allow us to make a better profit, which means I can pay back the bank sooner. So luckily for me, the truck I rented was available for the next couple of days, so they delivered it this morning. So we are ready to rock and roll in our lovely little truck. It's looking pretty darn good, if I don't mind saying. I do like the colors and everything. So let's get going on over to see Sherman and Mr. Wythers. It shouldn't be that long of a drive. I'm thinking it's like a couple hours to get there. I got rough directions on how to get there, so if we have any problems when I get to town, I can just text Sherman and see what's going on there. I'm not sure if Mr. Wythers is going to be there. He said his father might be busy, which seems kind of interesting that his father would be busy, so I'm not sure what that all means, but I'm hoping he'll be there when we get there. I mean, what would Mr. Wythers be doing? I don't know. But like I said, it's going to be like a couple hour journey to get there. So I'll still get there. We'll probably have some lunch. I think Sherman said he's going to just have a little meal for us to go, and then maybe his father will be there in the afternoon hours. But anyways, I'm kind of excited to go see them, and I'm pretty sure I don't know if they're excited to see me, but I know they're looking forward to it. But I'm pretty sure they'll be even more looking forward to it when I hand them a 10,000 pound check for being able to harvest their field last year. I may put a feeler out there about harvesting their field again this upcoming season, next season. If I can do it again, that would be great because that just means more cash flow for me. Anyways, time to put the pedal down to the floor so I get there at a reasonable hour this morning. Weather should be good all day today from here to there. I don't know if I'm staying overnight or not. But if I do have this truck for today and tomorrow. So if I am there long enough, maybe I will stay, maybe I won't. I have no idea. But I cannot wait to go and see Sherman himself, and of course Mr. Wythers is always a fun guy to talk to. Well, we have arrived. Not too bad, it's only 11:15. Weather is looking pretty darn good over here. But let me go knock on the door and see if we're at the right place or not. Hey, Sherman, looks like I found the right place. You sure did. Have any trouble getting here? None whatsoever. And a beautiful day for a drive, if I must say so myself. Yes, this fall weather today is beautiful. Well, I'm glad that you're here. I hope your father's around as well. My father's actually inside on the phone talking to the store. They're looking for the equipment he was supposed to lease today to do a job that needs to get done. That's great. So we'll be all having lunch together? Yep. Come on inside and sit on down, and I'll start preparing the meal for us. What a meal that was. Sherman is one heck of a cook, actually. I'm actually kind of surprised about that for some reason. I just never thought of him as a cook. Anyways, it's now 1:45 in the afternoon. I'm actually waiting for Mr. Wythers to come on out. I'm going to give him a ride over to the store so he can go ahead and pick up the equipment that he needs. Apparently, he's got to cultivate a field for another farmer that he's been working for since he's been back over here. So, I mean, keeping him busy, I guess, is a good thing. So I'm just going to wait for him to come out of the house, and then we're going to hop into our rented pickup truck, take him on over to the store, and drop him off. And then I'll probably come back here, talk to Sherman. His brother isn't around, so that's kind of unfortunate. I was hoping to meet their brother that I guess he's actually the one that actually owns the building, if I remember correctly, that he owns the property over here. So, yeah, maybe some other time I'll get to visit with him. But today it's a Sherman and Mr. Wythers, so I just got to wait for him to come out outside, take him on over to the store. Well, you weren't kidding, Mr. Wythers, when you said the store is just across the way there. I can see it from here. Yeah, it's not too far at all. So you like working for this farmer you've been doing work for all summer long? Yep. Gets me out of the house. I suppose it is good to get outside and get some fresh air. Sure beats sitting inside the house all day long just reading a newspaper. A newspaper? They still make those? Why wouldn't they? I other reasons, I guess. I'm not really quite sure. Sometimes I just don't get you. Well, I am an odd one for sure. So, just going to drop you off at the store, and I guess I'll head back and talk to Sherman, I suppose, for a little while. Well, we'll see if the equipment's even here. Well, I thought you called and... They said it would be ready. Okay, we'll see here shortly. Well, there is some equipment out here. I'll just go on in with it and make sure everything's all set to go. And if it is, then, yeah, I'll head on back to Sherman. And you know what? Just give us a buzz on the cell phone and let us know when you're done. And I'll come back and pick you up. All right, whatever. Well, a few change of plans. Don't ask me how I got roped in to do this, but I'm the one that's going to go do the job. Yeah, this is one of those stores that has a nice little lounge on the inside, and they serve coffee and whatnot. Well, I suppose Mr. Wythers now is just going to sit in there, talk with some friends of his, and have some coffee, and just have an old man's afternoon. And I somehow got roped into saying I would go do the job for him. But this is what we are renting, or at least he's renting this afternoon. Or I don't know who's renting it. I'm just doing the job. Luckily for me, the field is just around the corner, and I hope I'm going to the right one. But the store, the clerk behind the desk kind of like drew me a little map there, so it's not that bad to get there at all. I mean, it's literally right here. But knowing me, I might still do the wrong one. Probably should turn my beacons on, since I'm the new guy around here. So yeah, take a left out of the store, and then I gotta take the first left, which is through here, apparently. I thought the gate was supposed to be open. They didn't say, you know, the gate might be closed, but they said the first left. I would assume this is the first left. I just go straight ahead, and I'll see a field of oilseed radish, which I do. Alright. Unfold the cultivator. That always helps. And lower it on down. And then get to work. I've already texted Sherman and said what's happening, and he just sent back a text that said LOL. Imagine that. Maybe that's the whole reason why Mr. Wythers wanted me to drive him to the store, is because he knew that his friends would be there, and I would be the one, I won't say dumb enough, but you know, Mr. Wythers asked me to do something for him, I'll do it for him. It's not going to take me wow, this field's not going to take me long at all with the equipment that we got here. So that's a good thing. So lunch went rather well. I had a long conversation with both Mr. Wythers and Sherman. First things first, handing them the 10,000 pound check. They were a little taken aback by that. At first they didn't want to accept it. And then I said, well, you know, you're going to accept it one way or another. And I said, because, you know, I may have another favor to ask. And I asked about leasing the field for next year. And I think we kind of agreed on the same thing, is for 10,000 pounds, if they don't sell the farm by next spring, that I could definitely go ahead and replant in it if I like. Now, I did get a little nosy. I asked if they had any offers on the farm, and they've only had one, and they definitely said they would not sell to that person. And I said, well, just because out of curiosity, someone I might know. And they said, of course it is. It's Mr. Who, which I found kind of interesting, because Mr. Who told me he wants to become a doctor. So why would he be trying to buy a farm of some sort? I have no idea. But yeah, apparently Sherman and Mr. Wythers don't get along with Mr. Who at all, and kind of got the same feeling likewise going the other way that Mr. Who doesn't get along with them at all either. Not really sure what the history is there at all, but I'm nosy, but not that nosy. So yeah, not many feelers on the farm at all for them, which is, kind of sad. It's a nice farm, but I guess the economy right now is just not doing well. So, or either that, they're just asking way too much, which I have not asked how much they're selling the farm for. Not that I could afford it. I mean, I'm down to 35,000 pounds in my own bank account now, and even more so than that, I got to pay for a $50,000 silo here pretty darn soon. But the good thing is, I think next season's going to be a good season for myself. The reason being, one, well, if all goes my way, I'll be able to replant in the Wythers, go up to Wyther Farms and, harvest or plant and reharvest that field again. Plus I got my own field. I'll have a silo to put the crops in and sell when the time is right. And of course we always got our grass field to go ahead and harvest and keep selling silage bales. And there's a slim chance that maybe, just maybe, I can come up with some kind of deal through the winter about the field next to our lovely little log cabin. So, I mean, I am going to be like 80,000 pounds short in buying it, but if I can guarantee them maybe paying them the money late next year after the harvest, if they're not going to touch the field at all next year, then maybe I can just, agree with them saying, look, I could probably repay you by the end of the season. And, that might go over well, may not go over well at all, don't know. Maybe I can also come up with a deal like, if I do that, I'll have to do some work for them on the side once in a while for free, just to be in good terms with them. I don't know. But something to think about. I got all winter to do so. I don't know how long it's going to take us to put up the silo, maybe a day or two. I don't know if they're going to put it up piece by piece, or they're going to transport all of the silo over to my farm. I guess I can kind of start calling it a farm because I'm going to have a silo and everything. It sounds fantastic. But I don't know if they're going to ship it all over in piece by piece and then build it, or bring it over piece by piece and build it every time they bring over a piece. I have no idea. I just promised them at this point that I would be there to kind of help them out, rebuild it, save some of the labor costs, I guess. As far as I know, it's going to be 50,000 pounds. We'll see how it goes. But that farmer's been kind of nice to me. They're the ones that gave me all of the mowing equipment when I first got there for a really cheap price because they didn't need it. They were happy to just get some money for that equipment. Now I think they're just happy about the silo. I mean, I heard the silo it works, is what they're saying. It's in kind of rough condition. That's why they're getting rid of it, and it doesn't meet their requirements anymore because they're on a bigger farm as it is. So even more so, talking to Sherman and Mr. Wythers, they want to know how things are going over there in my area. And I said things are going rather well. They want to know how my farm was doing, and overall it's doing rather well, as I told them. Their trailer, for the trailer and all that stuff they gave me, helping out quite a bit. I don't know. There's just something about. I have had some thoughts about maybe trying to run their farm, but I don't know how I would do that. I mean, I got to run my own farm first, but how would I manage to run their farm? I think I could, I don't know why their farm isn't profitable. I don't know why they were having a hard time making money that way. I don't know if it's just the way they were managing it or whatnot. I don't know. Or are they hurting for money for other reasons? I don't know. But I got a lot of things to think about over this winter. That'll be one of them. Maybe try to do something for them on their farm. Maybe I won't plant in their field and harvest it. Maybe I'll just try to come up with an idea for them so maybe they can still own their farm. Because Mr. Wythers seems a little, he seems kind of happy doing other people's work. Like I said, gets him out of the house, but I think he would rather work in his own field. So maybe I can get them to move back somehow and just help them manage the farm, be more of a manager. My first year I was there, I was more like a farm hand and not a manager. They had pigs, they had sheep, they had a couple fields, they had some decent equipment around there. It wasn't all that bad. I don't know, but that's what one thing winter will allow me to do, allow me to think some more things through. But maybe I got to make sure I get my own farm up and going before I try to run my own farm and manage another one. That might be too much for me. But here I am. I thought I was coming over for a good visit. I'd have the afternoon to sit down and talk to Sherman a little bit more. But somehow I got dragged into cultivating a farmer's field that, I don't know. Don't know hardly anyone over here other than Mr. Wythers and Sherman. And the clerk now at the store. Seems like a nice guy. I don't know why Mr. Wythers said it's going to take me a couple hours. With this tractor and cultivator in this size field, it took me no time at all. I'm not even sure Mr. Wythers even going to get through one cup of coffee. And just like that, Mr. Wythers, your job is done. I'll head back to the store and tell them we're all set. No cars coming, but I better make sure I re-shut the gate just to be sure. Don't want to get in trouble for that. And I'll park the tractor and cultivator right where I got it from. Hope I don't get any weird looks. Maybe, you know, if I got the job done too quick, maybe they think I'm bringing it back because there's a problem. There we go. Turn the beacons off. Go inside, get Mr. Wythers, and head on back to the house. Somehow, this does not surprise me. Mr. Wythers wants to stay here and drink some more coffee with his friends. It all works out. One of his friends said he'll give him a ride back to the house. But what that allows me to do is head on back. And I will sit down with Sherman for a little while, have a conversation, maybe have some coffee of our own. I'm not sure if I'll stay overnight or not. I'll have a quick look at the weather. If I do stay overnight, I don't know if I'll stay with Sherman and Mr. Wythers. I have no idea, but part of me thinks I may just go back today and get back home and maybe start doing some plans for the winter and early next spring. Got plenty of time to do it, but, you know, start to gather up some of my thoughts. Anyways, I'm going to go back, sit down with Sherman, and enjoy a little bit more of the afternoon.